All right, I'm here with an updated look at my NES collection. This is the first time that this collection's been updated since 2016, I think, so this has definitely been a while. The NES, I think, is a really cool system. It's not one of my favorites, and I think it's been surpassed a lot, obviously. It's still home to a ton of classics that are absolutely timeless, but there's a lot of junk, but I mean, doesn't every system have a lot of junk? It's not one of my main focuses for collecting, but I do collect anything and everything that I come across for it, especially mostly at garage sales. I don't usually look for NES stuff when I'm at stores, but at garage sales, I mean, I'll keep anything from lots. I'm not too picky with NES stuff. So kind of a random collection. For the sake of time, this is one of my bigger collections. So for the sake of time, if I don't really have much to say about a game, I'll just kind of show it and then move on. But I'll still have plenty to talk about. So let's get into this. I'll start now with my complete in box games, and then we'll move to cartridge only games. So the first one is Anticipation. If these look plastic, yeah, I have them all in box protectors. I think that's the best way to do complete in box, cardboard box games. Anticipation, an old party game, not too great to go to now. But look at this box art. Look how happy they are to be playing Anticipation. Barker Bill's Trick Shooting. I got this one at a flea market for $5, I think, complete in box. So not the most interesting game, but not one you see very often. It's a light gun game. It's not nothing revolutionary. Got here Bases Loaded. For some reason, I got this at a garage sale. For some reason, it's like green on the top. I don't quite know what's going on. Bases Loaded, and I got from that same sale Bases Loaded 2. Box protectors on backwards on that one. I'm not too big into baseball games, let alone kind of pretty outdated baseball games, but I can definitely safely say that there certainly are baseball games. Blades of Steel, Konami classic hockey game. We all know that one. Castle Quest. Look at this artwork. Look at this cover. It's great. Cool game to have it complete in box just because of that artwork. Some gems here. I got these all $20 each at a garage sale, and these are absolutely mint condition. Fantastic shape. I can't fit them all into one frame. So I got Castlevania and Castlevania 2. Castlevania 1, I just actually played through the whole thing on like Halloween 2018, I think it was. I figured I'd just sit down with it on the NES Classic. And Castlevania 1's great. It still holds up really well. It's still really fun. I like the weight of Simon, the main character. I think he feels good to control, which is really important with something like this. With something like Castlevania, especially classic Castlevania, you want something feeling more hefty. Castlevania 2, it's no surprise Castlevania 2 is a bit of a weird case. I don't necessarily think it's great. I've kind of changed my tune on it. I think it's a very interesting game. Definitely set the stage for a lot of games moving forward. In some ways, it's really ahead of its time, but it's definitely not one that I'm eager to go back and play like I would be with Castlevania 1 or Castlevania here, as I have it here, 3, which is another one that's just great. I mean, Castlevania 3 is fantastic. But no hate to Castlevania 2. I don't necessarily think it's anything exciting. Final Fantasy. Don't want my reflection in there. Final Fantasy. I got this one complete in box for a pretty good price, actually. The original Final Fantasy is classic. I mean, it is not a game that I'd be rushing back to play over its predecessors. If I were to play one right now, I'd probably play one of the Super Nintendo ones or one of the original PlayStation ones, or even Final Fantasy X or something. But definitely really cool to see how the series got its roots and how much of it is still prevalent, not only in Final Fantasy, but also in just JRPGs in general. I mean, a lot of that can be attributed to Dragon Quest more so than anything, but the original Final Fantasy is still an interesting case. Flintstone Rescue of Dino and Hoppy, I should say. Obviously, it'd be nice if this was the other Flintstones game for the NES complete in box, but it isn't. Got Black Box Golf here. I'm not too crazy about Black Box Golf, I hate to say. Top Secret Episode Go-Go 13. Another game that's kind of interesting, but not really that great. But certainly very interesting title. This is a funny one. I got this for like $5, my local game store, and it actually has some decent value. I don't know why they marked it at $5. I used to listen to the Completely Unnecessary podcast. I haven't listened to it in a couple years now, but used to listen to it, and this was like a recurring meme on the show. Got here, Jordan versus Bird. Here's a good one. I got this at Con Bravo in 2015. Kirby's Adventure, I think it's one of my favorite NES games. I think it's a good time. The graphics are really good for NES. Fun game. I really think, I just think it's a great game. One of my favorite NES games for sure. Really holds up well today. Definitely a definite classic. I feel like not a lot of people talk about Kirby's Adventure. But I mean, I like it a lot better than the original Game Boy games and all that. So maybe that's just me. The Last Starfighter. This was actually, I found this in a Goodwill. Complete in box like this. So that's cool. I got it for like $2 or something. Got here 2 different variants of the original Legend of Zelda. I'm going to knock that over. This is the original classic, iconic gold cart one with the cutout to show you that the cartridge is gold. And then this is the reprint of the gray cart with the gray cart. And once again, Legend of Zelda is not going to be the original one's not going to be the one that I go back to if I want to play a Zelda game. But I mean, just how far ahead of its time this game was when it originally came out is insane. It's incredible. The original Legend of Zelda game is just so influential, and it is so ahead of its time in so many things. And it's still incredibly playable to this day. I'm really bad at it because I'm really bad at a lot of these older games. But just a definitive classic. One of the most important games of all time. Certainly top 5. Mega Man. Mega Man's a series that's kind of anti the statement of I wouldn't go back to the one on NES, because those are I think the best ones. Original Mega Man, I got this complete in box copy for $80, I should mention. But I still need the manual, so it's not a complete in box. But original Mega Man, it's probably my least favorite of the NES Mega Mans, but I still think it's good. It's a little bit of a pain. It's not the most fun, I would say. It's tough. It's tougher than I would say any of the other ones. So I would definitely recommend, if you're getting into Mega Man, I would not start with Mega Man 1. I'd start with Mega Man 2, and then kind of just work your way back, because not the best Mega Man game. Monopoly. NES Play Action Football. Shadowgate. Here's one that I like, actually. This was from a garage sale bundle. Snake, Rattle, and Roll. I feel like I'm the only person who likes this game. I'm not really sure why I like it, because it's really not... It's nothing, stellar or anything. I like the main theme that plays. I don't know, something about it's catchy. And I don't know, I think it's a fun game. It's an old Rareware game, so definitely worth a look. It's on Rare Replay. I mean, it's not, stunning or stellar or anything, but it's kind of fun. I don't know. Here's a cool one. Solstice. This game is probably most interesting for its incredible soundtrack. There's a old game composer. I don't know if he does work anymore. His name's Tim Follin. I would definitely recommend look up the title, like the main theme of this song, of this game. It's like it's pretty insane. Definitely look into his music, because he was kind of known for getting put on games that weren't really that good or really that interesting, and just making the most absurdly good music for it. Like, listen to like some of the music from NES Pictionary that he composed, and then he was doing like really insane Super Nintendo composing that sounded like it was ripped straight from a CD. It was incredible, like Plock and stuff, and one of the Spider-Man games. Definitely would recommend looking into his music catalog on YouTube. Some really cool retro composing, and I feel like he just doesn't get talked about much when it comes to retro composers. Got here Star Tropics. I'm just gonna almost drop that. And I got here Zoda's Revenge, Star Tropics 2. Star Tropics is an interesting series. They're not the most interesting to play, I would say. well, maybe not, but they're a little bit of a pain to play, like a lot of older games are. But it's an interesting series. It has some really cool ideas. Everyone, I'm sure, knows the classic, dip the letter from the game into water to get the secret message. Stuff like that's really fascinating. And it's just an interesting game in general. And I'm just surprised that this series has gone nowhere since. I mean, not a Smash Brothers character. They never tried the series again for anything, not even a Super Nintendo game. I would love to see what Nintendo would do if they brought this series back. I don't think that they ever will, but it could be a really interesting series for them to bring back, and I would really be fascinated to see what they'd even do with it. Could be really cool. The only one I have complete in box, Super Mario Brothers 2. I think I paid $15 for this at my local store before game prices went crazy. So when you get back later in the video and I have Super Mario Brothers 1 and 3, don't ask where Super Mario Brothers 2 is. Super Mario Brothers 2, I think, is a lot of fun. I've always liked it. I like how weird it is, because you can tell it was not meant to be a Mario game. And I'm not going to retell the whole story of why it's not. But I like it a lot. I think it's fun. It's pretty challenging. I don't know. I definitely like it. I think it feels good, and I feel like it gets underrepresented when it comes to modern Mario. Top Players Tennis. Wheel of Fortune. Very fascinating games here. Wrath of the Black Manta. I'm trying to think which game this is. I don't remember. I remember trying that one out. The screenshots look familiar, but I can't remember anything about it. So maybe that's all that you need to know about it. And Yoshi's Cookie. Yoshi's Cookie. I got this one for really cheap from a guy. He tried to tell me it was brand new. I mean, it was obviously wasn't. It was not, it wasn't sealed. But, Yoshi's Cookie, it's a puzzle game. I mean, what is there really to say? I'm trying to think who made this. I don't remember. I mean, obviously it's from Nintendo, but I'm trying to think of who developed it, because I thought there was a story behind it, but I might be mistaken. Going to now transition into the loose cartridge games. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of filler titles that there's just not much to talk about. I got a little thing of dust flying by. Great content here. There's going to be a lot of filler titles, not interesting enough to really talk about, so I'm just going to move on. That way this video won't be like an hour long, and I'm going to be talking about something like 10-Yard Fight. 720. I don't know, there's something about this artwork's kind of cool. A Boy and His Blob. Another game that's just kind of cool, kind of cute. A little bit of a pain to play. Definitely interesting. I feel like that's going to be a theme of this video, but I would recommend, though, Way Forward. I think it was Way Forward. Who did that? Shoot. I think it was Way Forward on the Wii, and I think it got ported to like Vita and PS4 maybe. Did like a remake that I think is pretty cute, pretty nice, pretty decent game. Probably recommend it better over that one. Adventure Island, classic Hudson Soft game. Adventures of Bayou Billy. Not really thrilled by this one, I know. Not the most popular game, but never really done much to thrill me. Who is this? Al Unser Jr.'s Turbo Racing. Alpha Mission. Arch Rivals. Look at this cover art. Nowadays we just have cover art where it's like a CG render of the main character's face looking sad. Back in the day you had to really try something. Athletic World. If only this was, stadium events, but it is not. I got here Macaulay Culkin's copy of Back to the Future on NES. Obviously this game's kind of infamous, but I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say. It's not great by any means, but Baseball Stars. Batman the video game. Sunsoft developed game based off the 1989 movie. Pretty solid licensed platformer. This is definitely one to keep a look at. I think it's still pretty cheap too to get. So definitely one to look out for. NES stuff on average, I would say for collecting purposes, at least cartridge only, has definitely been on a downward spiral. Not bad. It's not like Crash or anything, but it's going down. Sealed stuff on the other end is just up and up and up and up. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Here's another one with really cool artwork. I don't know much about this game. I don't know if I ever tried this one out, but the Battle of Olympus. Like, look how epic this game looks here, and then you go in there and it's probably sucks. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about that one. Gary Kitchen's Battle Tank. Gary Kitchen, of course, beloved game maker man, known for Gary Kitchen's Battle Tank. Battletoads. Battletoads is just, it's such a meme. I don't know. Battletoads is a cool game. It's so hard. It's so tough as nails. It's a cool game. It's such a pain to play. It's so annoying, but classic rare game that we're all familiar. Everyone's familiar with Battletoads, and it's tough. I mean, it lives up to its legacy of being just tough as nails. It's brutal. Bionic Commando, another one I think that a lot of people have heard the name of, but maybe have not played. It's a cool game. And then they did that reboot. I remember they did the reboot for like 360 back in when Capcom was trying to appeal to Western audiences. I don't think that worked out too well. The Black Bass. Now this is a game that shows you everything that you're going to get. You're going to get fishing and you're going to get a black bass. And Bubble Bobble. I always found the Bubble Bobble characters, I think their names are Bub and Bob. I've always found them appealing. I don't know. There's something cute about them. Bubble Bobble's a fun little puzzle game. Classic. Bugs Bunny's Birthday Blowout. Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. I always found the Crazy Castle series kind of bizarre. How it just moved around to all these different licenses. It became like Woody Woodpecker. I think they rebranded one of the Bugs Bunny games, one of the Crazy Castle games, and then made it like a Garfield game and a Ghostbusters game or something like that. Something ridiculous. They went all over the map with these. I can't remember the exact story. I'm probably wrong on that one. Captain America and the Avengers. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. This game was funny to me just because in true Captain Planet style, when you got this game complete in box, it actually did not come. It was the only game, officially licensed game that did not come with a little styrofoam piece at the bottom. It came with a piece of recycled material, cardboard type thing. And that's because, styrofoam, no good for the planet. Captain Planet is not a hypocrite. He will not put his NES game out with styrofoam in it. Captain Skyhawk. This game, who cares about this game, but I tell you what, every NES game I get seems to have this game in it. I don't know why. I don't know who was buying Captain Skyhawk en masse back in the day, but they certainly were. Championship Bowling. Codename Viper. Cooler name and cover art than what the game actually is, but I don't know why my copy of Contra has the word bowl written on it. I don't think I noticed that some guy's name is written on here. But Contra is a classic. I'm so bad at it. But Contra, of course, is a great time. There's that Contra collection on PS4 and Switch and Xbox. That's probably worth a go. The Castlevania collection is certainly worth it. Super C, the follow-up to Contra. Another good one. I'm really bad at Contra. I just get destroyed immediately. But it's a fun time. It's a fun destruction. Days of Thunder. Based off the movie. Deja Vu. This was kind of an interesting game. I've just got this one, so I didn't get the chance to mess around with it too much. But Dig Dug 2. The epic sequel. Disney Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. This one, a lot of people think of the Capcom Disney games pretty fondly, but this one's not. This one's no good, and there's a reason it was not on the Disney Capcom collection that they put out on modern systems. We got here Donkey Kong, good old classic, the original Donkey Kong. NES port of the arcade game. Donkey Kong 3. What is there to say? They're NES ports. We also then have, what collection would be complete without Donkey Kong Classics? What collection would be complete without him? That little baby Donkey Kong Jr. That's him right there. Collection's not complete without him. Double Dragon. And I have all of the NES Double Dragons here. All the 1 through 3. Another game from Bull. I got a whole lot from Bull, and I was too lazy to clean off his name. I don't know. Double Dragon, obviously, everyone knows him. What is there to say about Double Dragon that has not been said on the internet a million times? I am not an expert on Double Dragon. I think it's fun, but it's not one of my go-to NES games. I'll say that much. Then, yeah, I do have Double Dragon 3 as well. Once again, nothing against Double Dragon, just not one of my go-to NES games by any means. Double Dribble. Dr. Mario. I've always liked Dr. Mario. Obviously, you can get it on 10 million different systems, but, you know, never not down for a nice game of Dr. Mario. It's always a good time. Dragon Power. This is the prequel to Rocket Power. As you can see. I don't know. Don't remember which one that is, but terrible cover art. Dragon Warrior, of course, classic. Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, as we knew it over here until I believe Dragon Quest VIII, because of, you know, just licensing, trademark issues. Once again, if I'm going to go play Dragon Quest, it's probably not going to be Dragon Quest 1, but I can really appreciate how important it is to JRPGs. I mean, the importance of it really can't be understated. We're still, every RPG pretty much, JRPG pretty much is aping Dragon Quest in some way. And obviously there were games before it, but it's certainly the most important. Duck Hunt. It's you know, the classic light gun game. I don't have much more to say about it. I like Duck Hunt. I think it's fun. It's always one to pull out, mess around with, and then put it back. DuckTales. This is a fun platformer. I'm younger than most NES collectors, so I was not around for the whole Disney Afternoon thing, and I've never watched DuckTales, or I think they're doing a new DuckTales. I've never watched that. But it's a fun platformer. This is a good one. Definitely a classic. Short Order and Explode. 2 games for family fun. I've never understood this. This has always just been a strange game for me. I don't know. I just don't know. It's 2 games and it has something about that game just really is funny to me. I don't know why. Probably my brain has just been rotted so far. Excite Bike. Yeah. My first experience with Excite Bike and a lot of NES games was actually on Animal Crossing for GameCube when you could get the NES games. And Excite Bike is certainly not one of my favorites. I believe the actual pronunciation of this is Fuzzanadu. I know a lot of people say it Faxanadu, but I think it's actually Fuzzanadu. Xanadu was like a classic Falcom game. There was a classic Falcom series that was only out in Japan on PC. And Hudson Soft actually developed like a spin-off game, which is this, for NES. And this is a pretty cool game. Falcom, of course, now is known probably best for the Ys series. Legend of Heroes, you know, Trails of Cold Steel and Trails in the Sky. So definitely, you know, it's still a prevalent company, but yeah, their roots go back pretty far, and it's cool. I believe this is really the first thing we ever saw out of them here in the West, was this spin-off for a series that we never got. So very weird, but it's a decent game. Felix the Cat. This is actually a pretty hard to come by game, pretty pricey. It's developed by Hudson Soft. It is a pretty solid platformer. I mean, it's nothing mind-blowing by any means. I think it goes for like $70 card only. I don't know why. I don't think it's probably worth that. But I got this for $2 at a thrift store, so definitely a good find there. But I mean, it's certainly not mind-blowing by any means, but Fester's Quest. This game is just bad. Obviously everyone knows this one's bad, but this game is just bad. Good old Uncle Fester. Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf. So when I first got my NES, I got it at like my used game store in, I want to say 2011, 2012. I was right when I started collecting, and when NES games were dirt cheap back then. And I was just kind of going through the games, and I see this game for $1 called Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be like a fighting game with like golfers. Sounds great. It was not. It's just a golf game, but the title at least gets you interested. But there is no fighting in Fighting Golf, I hate to tell y'all. Galaga. Gauntlet 2. Ghostbusters, which I think it's pretty well known that the Master System version of this game would be better. There's a better version of the game, although not a very good game overall. Ghostbusters 2. I don't know too much about Ghostbusters 2. I don't remember it, but I have with the Genesis Ghostbusters game. That's pretty solid. Ghosts and Goblins. I'll be nice to a lot of games that are considered classics, even if I'm not, even if they're a bit of a pain to play, because I can understand how important they are. I really hate Ghosts and Goblins. It's so hard. It's such a pain to play. It's so hard. You have to beat the game twice to actually beat it. Ugh, I don't know. I'm not having it with Ghosts and Goblins. Super Ghosts and Goblins, other ones, yeah, sure. But original Ghosts and Goblins, oof, I will probably pass on that one. I got here the Goonies 2. I've always thought it was funny. There is no Goonies 1 game. So this is implied to be a sequel to the movie of Goonies. Something about that's always been funny to me, that they're like, you know what? The epic sequel, it's an NES game. That's the follow-up. Gotcha. Gumshoe. I feel like this game's often forgotten. It's a light gun game. I guess there's really no reason to remember it too much, but it's always weird that Nintendo really never ever talks about that one. Gunsmoke. So I might be wrong about this. Gunsmoke actually is technically the first Red Dead Redemption game, because Red Dead Revolver, which is the first Red Dead game, the PS2 and Xbox game, was a Capcom game that was supposed to be like it was from this series. It was supposed to be kind of like a reboot of this series, and somehow the rights got over to Rockstar, and it became Red Dead Redemption, and Red Dead Redemption 2 that we all know today. So, very odd story. I hope I'm getting it right. There are probably parts I'm missing. I might be just making this up because I am pretty stupid. But I find it very funny that this random game somehow became one of the biggest games of the generation. Gyromite, one of the Rob games. I don't have a Rob still. I have the Power Glove, but I don't have a Rob. I really like the main theme of this game. I don't know. I think it's fun. Nothing too exciting, though, if you don't have a Rob. And something very frustrating if you do. Hillsfar, this is like a Dungeons & Dragons game. It's worth a lot of money. That's why I decided to just drop it on the floor. Yeah, I got this at a flea market for $2 once again. And yeah, this is a reasonably valuable game. Kind of hard to come by. I just dropped it, so don't know what's going to happen there. Hogan's Alley, of course, if you play this game with your hands, it's a baby game. Ice hockey, a pretty fun hockey game, actually. I mean, if I'm going to play a sports game on NES, I would play ice hockey. Iron Sword, Wizards and Warriors 2, of course, got this excellent Fabio art on the cover. Excellent Fabio. Look up the picture of when Fabio got hit by a goose when he was on a roller coaster. That's a good, I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for Fabio, but it's kind of funny. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This one is actually pretty hard to come by. My local game store priced this because there's two versions. There's the Taito version and the Ubisoft version. This is the Ubisoft version. My local game store priced it at the Taito version, which I think was about $20 at the time. So I got this version, which is worth a considerable can't talk. I've been talking about NES games for a half hour. I can't talk anymore. Considerable amount more. Infiltrator. Jackal. I feel like this one doesn't get enough attention, but this is a pretty fun game. I feel like I know a lot of people know it, but I don't feel like it gets talked about a bunch. Definitely a game you can track down for cheap, too. I'd recommend it. It's a good time. Jeopardy. This is another thrift store find, Jimmy Connor's Tennis. Actually pretty hard to come by one, maybe a $50, $60 game. And I got it for, I think, $1 or $2. It's a tennis game, so it's not too exciting. But for some reason, just a harder to come by game, so good to have it in the collection. John Elway's Quarterback. Jurassic Park. I'm not familiar with this one. I grew up playing the Genesis Jurassic Park game a lot, which not very good game, but kind of interesting because this would be a pretty late release. That movie came out in, 93? So this is a pretty late release. It's already 2 years into Super Nintendo. So, although NES games were really coming out for a while afterwards. Kid Icarus. I always regret that I got those Castlevanias I showed earlier in the collection video. But he also had Kid Icarus, and I'm sure he would have sold it to me for $20 in the same condition, and I just didn't ask him about it. Kid Icarus, I like it a lot. I really like Kid Icarus Uprising. That's one of my favorite. That's my favorite 3DS game, and one of my favorite Nintendo games ever is Kid Icarus Uprising. This game, much different than that game, obviously, but I like the original Kid Icarus. I think it's kind of fun. It's not great by any means, but it's a good one. And Kung Fu, one of the black box games. Knight Rider, this is another one of the games I got when I first got my NES. It was either $1 or $2 or something. Not very good, but just something fun to mess around with. Legacy of the Wizard. Another game you see a lot. Nothing too spectacular, I don't ever think. Legendary Wings, this one's alright. This is like a decent classic Capcom game. I mean, I wouldn't, write home about it or anything, but it's alright. The Legend of Kage. Something about this cover art in an era of games when everything was so, distinctly, manly. Fabio got his shirt off on Iron Sword 2, and I don't know, something about this cover art's just funny to me that they were like, we'll just put this out. I don't know, who cares. Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. I'll be honest, I'm not huge on Zelda 2. It's definitely lower. I can appreciate it. I really like watching people play it rather than playing it myself. I can really appreciate it, but certainly, not. Once again, I would just rather play A Link to the Past or one of the more modern games instead. Life Force, another, Konami classic. It's a good time. The Little Mermaid. This game's actually not half bad. Another Capcom Disney game. Certainly not a bad game. Little Nemo Dream Map would say, I guess it's not a hidden gem. I think plenty of people have heard of that one, but it's a pretty good time. Lunar Pool. Look at this cover art. This cover art's fantastic. Look at this. It's just two guys in space playing pool, looking cool. Playing pool, looking cool. Leave that one in the comments below if you somehow made it this far. Mach Rider. I remember Smash Brothers speculation was saying that Mach Rider was going to be a Smash Brothers character. Yeah, right. Spy versus Spy. Maniac Mansion, another classic adventure game. I don't know. I think it's the NES port, especially. There's some charm to it. It's really interesting. Really revolutionary in a lot of ways as well. Marble Madness. Now, if I'm not wrong, was this not developed by one guy? I think it was. I can't remember who it was. It was someone important too. I don't know. Only have enough space. Only have so much space for game stuff. Mario Bros. I feel like this game is pretty easily forgotten. The original Mario Bros, not Super Mario Brothers. It's a fun arcade game, but I think that most people, when you say Mario Bros, think of the original Super Mario Brothers. Starting to get Mega Man. Mega Man 2. I like Mega Man 2 a lot. It's the normie answer, but it's probably my favorite of the classic Mega Man series. It's certainly the most iconic, but I'd say it's certainly my favorite of the classic Mega Mans. But the NES Mega Mans, I mean, they're all good. Mega Man 3. Yeah, I really like Mega Man 3 as well. When you go back and you fight all the Mega Man 2 bosses then as well. It's certainly an endurance run, but classic. Really great. I don't have Mega Man 4 cartridge for some reason. I just have never stumbled across it. I got Mega Man 5 from a garage sale, actually. It was $1 at a garage sale, which is incredible. 6 was also at that sale. So great find. I really like Mega Man 5 and 6. 6 especially. I mean, just look at 1 compared to 6. Like, graphically, the music's insane for an NES game. I mean, it's really great. Good stuff. I really think Mega Man is definitely, like, the best the NES has to offer, in my opinion. I might be a little bit biased because I have Mega Man as my profile picture. Metroid. Once again, you're going to be probably sick of hearing this. Original Metroid's not my favorite. I think it's a little bit too difficult, and not just from difficulty level, but just hard to navigate all that. I'm not crazy about it. I'd much rather play a different Metroid. I'm not too huge on classic Metroid, like 2D Metroid in general, although I've never played all the way through Super Metroid, so that would probably change. I really like Metroid Prime. I think that's my favorite iteration of Metroid. Mickey Mousecapade. It's an alright one. As far as the Capcom Disney games go, not one of their better attempts. Narc, the obviously infamous anti-drugs NES game. Also an arcade machine. NES Open, golf with Mario. You get to golf with Mario. Who wouldn't want that? Ninja Gaiden. I really like Ninja Gaiden. This is one of the few series that I'd rather play the classic Ninja Gaiden rather than the the modern ones. Although Ninja Gaiden, like the original Xbox one's pretty cool. But yeah, I really like these a lot. They're once again tough as nails, and I'm really bad at them. But I really like classic Ninja Gaiden. I only have the first one. I don't have the second or third one. Operation Wolf. Take no prisoners. Okay. Orb 3D. I don't even know what this game is. If you asked me today if I knew I had Orb 3D on NES, I would say I don't. I've never heard of Orb 3D on NES. We have NES. This is Namco Pac-Man. I really like this artwork. There's a lot of like really bizarre Pac-Man artwork. Because I mean, how do you really represent Pac-Man? Like, look at this artwork too. This is Tengen Greycart Pac-Man. So this is like a licensed Tengen release of Pac-Man with some bizarre artwork. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. But yeah, I mean, not horrible port. I mean, I'm talking about Namco Pac-Man. Not a horrible port of Pac-Man. It's the one that you probably see the most nowadays with re-releases. But I mean, I think Pac-Man still feels the best. With an actual stick. It doesn't really feel great to play on a D-pad. Paperboy. Paperboy is one of those series, those retro series that I just have never really been too crazy about. I mean, it's alright, but... Pinball. It's a good pinball game. Pro Wrestling, another black box. 2 black box games in a row. Punch-Out. Punch-Out's one of those games. I also have... I have both versions of Punch-Out, so I should probably get them both out. Punch-Out is one of those games that I'm really fascinated. I'm more fascinated with watching than actually playing. Like, I really like watching people who are good at Punch-Out play Punch-Out. I've always thought it was really interesting. But yeah, I'm terrible at it. I'm no good at Punch-Out. I've never been able to be good at Punch-Out. But it's one of those things. And it's one of those games that you have to play pretty much on original hardware. Because even that little bit of delay on, like, the NES Classic with HDTV is enough to like kind of really mess the game up. But I really like watching people who are good at playing a Punch-Out. I really find it impressive. Because I'm just awful at it. Rad Racer. I mean, this is an okay game. I'm not too... One of those sports and racing games, I'm just not too interested in like the retro, like NES versions of them. Same thing with RC Pro-Am. I can appreciate it. I can appreciate the effort, but I mean... There's such a large library of games out there now that I'm not going to go out and play, Rad Racer. Roundball. And Rescue Rangers, or Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. This is another one of them. the Disney Capcom games. And yeah, this is a pretty fun game. Once again, I have no point of reference with Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. I never watched it. I've never seen it. But it's a pretty enjoyable NES game. That's what I know. We got here another one of the games I first got when I got my NES. RoboCop. This game's not bad. It's not anything spectacular, but I had enough fun out of it with the $2.50 that I paid for it, so can't really complain. RoboCop 3 then as well, which is interesting. This must have been published by Nintendo, maybe? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I know this one's probably most infamous for the Angry Video Game Nerd episode, where the telephone number in the game leads you to a number that in modern era that you probably don't want to call anymore. I'll leave it at that. Roller games. Another one. Great art. Look at this artwork. Look at this just ridiculous artwork. Once again, I didn't bother to clean this one off. Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. I got here also Sesame Street ABC. These ones really help me out with learning. I got here Sesame Street Big Bird's Hide and Speak, which is interesting. It does have like voice clips in it. Obviously very, bit crushed and compressed, but they are there. Say Cross. I don't know. This one looks kind of cool. I'm not familiar with this game. I remember getting it for like $1 or $2, but I never checked it out. There's another one I've never checked out. Looks like it's probably going to be pretty in-depth. Shinjen the Ruler. Looks like they got like a periodic table on the cover, but I mean it's obviously a very weird cover. It has all the different meanings for different things in the game. I don't know. The Simpsons, Bart versus the Space Mutants, not very good. Not a very good game. Same thing goes for Simpsons, Bart versus the World. Skate or Die. I know one of those iconic NES games that, I don't know, I really can't care too much about. I don't know. If I'm going to play a skating game, I'm going to play Tony Hawk. I'm not going to play Skate or Die 2, which I also have. I mean, maybe I would, but, there's so much out there. Taito's Sky Shark. A lot of different, airplane games. Solar Jetman. This is an old Rareware game. It's kind of interesting. It's not super interesting, but it's really interesting. I would definitely recommend Rare Replay if you have an Xbox One, because seeing their history and just seeing some of these older games is fascinating to me. This has some old rental sticker residue on it. Star Voyager. Street Fighter 2010. This is not a fighting game like we would think of for Street Fighter normally. And Super Glove Ball. Got here the original Super Mario Brothers without Duck Hunt. Super Mario Brothers, the original one, is once again one of those games that it's just really impressive that they were able to get it right the first time. There's really not many other examples of a 2D platformer from this era. I mean, they got it right the first time and everyone copied them. Nowadays, I think Mario 1 has weird physics, and I'm not thrilled by its physics. It doesn't feel the best to play. I mean, it's been surpassed by every other Mario game, in my opinion. But, I mean, it is just so cool how they were able to get it right the first time. And I think it's iconic, it's classic, and there's definitely a reason for it. Super Mario Duck Hunt. Obviously, the pack-in title. I've talked about both these games already. Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet, too. Another game that was packed in with the set. Another set. Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario Brothers 3 is also just incredible. This is a game that plays perfectly, pretty much. I mean, it is 30 years old, and it's timeless. It's completely playable now. It is great. I mean, they really just nailed it with Super Mario Brothers 3. And there's a lot of games like that. Like I talked about Mega Man, Castlevania, the original Ninja Gaiden. There's a lot of games on the NES that are really old. And a lot of games on this system are complete duds. But there's a lot of games on here that are just absolutely timeless, that are still completely playable. And they're still making, games in that style today that a lot of them are not nearly as good as those original ones. Super Spike Volleyball. I wish I could have had a better game to show after I gave that little tirade, but I didn't. Super Off-Road. I was hoping this video wouldn't be like eternally long, but I mean, it's such a huge collection, I guess. It's inevitable that it would be. This is TNC Surf Design. Tecmo Bowl. I know a lot of people really like Tecmo Bowl. I'm not really into football in general. Video games are not. I also have Tecmo Super Bowl. But as far as I know, that these are, pretty highly acclaimed as some of the best retro sports games of all time. Original Ninja Turtles game. I don't really think this game is as bad as people say. It's tough. It can be a little bit cheap at times, but I mean, the music's iconic. I think it's a pretty decent game. Certainly not as bad as it gets hate for. And I'm not even a Ninja Turtles fan. I didn't grow up with it. I don't really care about the Ninja Turtles, but Konami's Track and Field. Tag Team Wrestling, a Data East wrestling game. Tetris, arguably the most perfect game of all time. It's simple, but there's nothing you can get wrong with classic Tetris. It's just, it really is the example of just a perfect game. There's nothing wrong with original Tetris. Tetris 2. Yeah, it can be easily understood, and it's just absolutely classic. Top Gun, I hate Top Gun. I hate this game. It's awful. It's terrible. It's one of the first games I got with my NES just because you see this game everywhere. It's dirt cheap. No one wants it. No one also wants its stupid sequel, Top Gun Second Mission. This game sucks, and I hate it. I hate both these games. They're awful. To the Earth. I don't know. I don't remember what game this is. I've tried so many of these games, and they all kind of meld together at some point, but I like that cover art. Tiger Heli. Time Lord. Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. I don't know why that's not what the first one, but this one's definitely a better NES game for the Ninja Turtles. I like this game a lot, actually. Pretty fun. I was thinking, where is that copy? I'm like, I don't have that in the box, do I? But no, it was out of order. That'll happen. Just like Track and Field is somehow out of order. Track and Field 2. Trojan, an old Capcom game. I feel like this game's forgotten because even I forgot this game existed. When you think of NES Capcom, I think that one doesn't come up. Vegas Dream. So that's interesting. It says HAL America. Did HAL Laboratories develop this one? Might be another HAL. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. This is a harder game to find. It's not great, but interesting game to have at the very least. If anyone remembers the Young Indiana Jones show, I remember watching it. It was kind of boring. It had some good episodes. Kind of boring, though. WCW Wrestling. World Class Track Meet. And WrestleMania. So that is all for the licensed. I'll real quick go into my unlicensed NES games. There's not too many of them. Bible Adventure is one of the Wisdom Tree games. This game's pretty entertaining. It's pretty funny. I remember when I found this game for $5, and it's not worth too much more than that at the time, but not very easy to come by. And the guy at the flea market I was buying it off of, I was like, how much are your NES games? And he had Ninja Turtles 1 and this one and a couple other ones. And he's like, oh, $5 each except for Ninja Turtles. That one's going for $200 online, so I have it for $100. And at the time, I don't know what it even goes for now, Ninja Turtles 1, but it was like a $5 game. So I don't know where he got that it was going for $200 online. But I took this one happily and walked away, not really caring about Ninja Turtles there. Captain Comic. For some reason, this label's just upside down. Captain Comic. This was Color Dreams. I use the same cartridges. Wisdom Tree. I always found it funny that, Wisdom Tree did all these unlicensed games. You know, you'd think that they wouldn't, as a religious company, they wouldn't want to do something, you know, not by the book, like do an unlicensed NES game, but there's no commandment against making an unlicensed NES game, I suppose. Crystal Mines, another Color Dreams game. None of these games are very good, but they're at least interesting. Journey to the Promised Land Exodus, another one of the Wisdom Tree ones. King of Kings, the early years. I don't know, something about these games that they're just entertaining to me. I don't know. Definitely an interesting part of the NES library. Spiritual Warfare as well. Then these are the Camerica games that come with this. They had this weird thing in the back. You can see this one is Micro Machines. Something about these unlicensed games has always been funny to me. I always like collecting these. MiG-29 as well, another unlicensed Camerica game. And then the rest of these, I think, oh no, there's one more that's not it, but these are all Tengen ones then. Miss Pac-Man. Regular Pac-Man. So here I have the Grey Kart regular Pac-Man and the Tengen regular Pac-Man. I mean, and the Namco Pac-Man. So there's Grey Kart, Tengen Pac-Man, Tengen Pac-Man, and then Grey Kart and Namco Pac-Man. So there's a lot going on. RBI Baseball. Tubin. This is a game where you get on your Zoom call and accidentally expose yourself. Named after Tubin. And finally, F-15. This is, I don't remember who does these ones. This weird one. I don't know. But that's it for my NES collection. This is, I think, my longest video on my channel. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know who's sticking around. I mostly assume that people kind of skip through the games they want to see or anything like that, and I understand that. But I haven't updated this collection in a while. It's a big collection, so I figured it'd be long. I was hoping it wouldn't be this long, but, you know. But I hope you enjoyed. If you stuck around this long, let me know in the comments below. Let me know some of your favorite NES games, games I should have in my collection. And if any of the games that I didn't really talk about or anything are like a hidden gem are really good, let me know and I'll check them out. Other than that, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Follow me on Twitter @ObjoGaming. Like the video because that really helps out a lot. And I will see you next time.